Mwah.
I slept damn well.
And he hasn't had any seizures.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I'll say.
So, the surgery was a success.
Well, it's a little too soon to tell.
Oh, wait a minute, I'm still here.
You look great. Vic and I didn't know what to expect.
Thank you, son.
But I brought you guys a change of clothes from home because we figured Dad would be getting out today.
Thank you.
Better be.
Well, let's hope you did.
Morning, Doc.
Good morning.
Hey.
How's our patient?
Well, Doc, on top of the world.
No symptoms of any kind?
No, except I think you better talk to your staff. I saw a whole bunch of giant tarantulas come right out of the ovens.
He's kidding. Newman family have an odd sense of humor.
What comes next?
We'll continue to monitor him, and I will start you on that new anti-seizure medication.
Oh, no, Doc, please. With 1,000 side effects.
Pay no attention to him. Grumbling is his hobby.
Until we're certain you're seizure-free, it's necessary.
It may be necessary, but it doesn't mean that I have to like the damn thing.
Everything looks good.
Good.
I'll make sure he takes his medication.
Well, how soon can I get out of here now?
Normally, I'd release you this morning, but since you were committed involuntarily, the court order needs to be terminated.
Okay, so how do we do that?
What's involved?
There will be a hearing, and the judge needs to be convinced that you're no longer a threat, and the order will be lifted.
Well, what if the judge isn't convinced?
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves on that.
This is surreal.
I just don't want to stay in this hellhole one more day.
The doctor is arranging for a hearing. You'll be out of here by lunchtime.
I can't even describe to you what it was like. Coming back to reality and finding myself in this psychiatric ward with my hands tied.
We all know that you don't belong here, Dad. And I'm sure that the doctor will tell the judge what happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And your behavior was caused by the medications. That's out of your system now. You've had surgery, you have new medication.
What if the judge wants to see how the medications work on me before he releases me?
It didn't sound to me like the doc was going to recommend that.
The judge will simply talk to you and recognize that you're lucid and responsible now.
As long as you lose the bad jokes.
And the grumbling.
Well, then it's hopeless. I know you all mean well, but would you kindly stop hovering? My attorney will handle things.
I don't know, Dad. You're a pretty dangerous guy. If things get dicey, I'm going to have to wrestle you to the ground again.
With what army, son? What is your sage advice?
Be yourself, Victor. That's all.
If he does that, he's going to get locked up for good.
Stop it.
What are we facing?
Well, if the judge feels he's still a danger to himself and the community, he could confine him to a mental ward for 90 days.
Oh, my God. That's unacceptable.
It's the judge's prerogative.
Darling, let's have some water. Sit down. Just all sit down.
What if this stress triggers another seizure?
Lighten up, all right? We don't want to increase his stress levels.
I wonder where the doctor is.
Is everyone present?
It appears so, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Be seated. As I understand it, we are convened to assess the mental status of Victor Newman. Miss Mead, you may proceed.
Doctor, did you reach an opinion as to Mr. Newman's mental state on September 11, the night he attempted to shoot his wife?
Yes, I have.
What is that opinion?
My medical opinion is that Mr. Newman was experiencing a psychotic break because of a negative reaction to medication.
Was he hospitalized?
Yes, he was.
Under what circumstances?
He was placed in a locked ward under a 3-day detention order pending further evaluation.
What's happened since you had him detained?
Mr. Newman has regained his normal sensibilities and opted to undergo gamma knife radiosurgery on the brain.
And what is the prognosis?
Good. Epilepsy is not the reason he posed a danger to himself and to others. He had an extremely rare reaction to medication. I have since put him on other medication that will not result in dramatic side effects.
You're sure it will not?
All medications have a risk of side effects, but with anti-seizure medication, a more typical reaction would be fatigue, headache, nausea, agitation, but not delusion. In my opinion, and in the opinion of my medical colleagues, Mr. Newman would not be a threat to himself or to others if released.
Given what we've just heard, there is no reason for me to cross-examine this witness.
Let's take a brief recess.
How do you think that went?
I don't think we have anything to worry about.
What else could the judge possibly want to know?
Well, he probably wants to speak to you to test your attitude towards surgery and being monitored.
He probably wants to make sure you didn't bring any of those tarantulas with you.
Very funny.
Agree to whatever he says in terms of monitoring. Don't fight it.
I don't want to go back there, though. I mean, I've spent a long time with animals' hell.
Dad, just keep it cool, all right? Everything's gonna work out.
You're right.
Once he hears you, he'll make a determination that you're not in need of commitment.
Good, we haven't lost anyone. Mr. Newman, I would like to ask you a few questions.
Certainly, Your Honor. Thank you.
Do you swear that the evidence you're about to give in this cause now on hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Do you understand what you did?
Yes, I do. And I'm mortified that I pointed a gun at my wife. And the thought that I could have possibly harmed her is too terrible to contemplate. But I'm very glad to know that my problems are attributable to the medications that I've been taking.
Do you realize you have a problem?
Of course I do. But thank God the doctors have found the cause of the problem and have cured me.
And how do you propose to avoid getting yourself in situations like this in the future?
By diligently following the doctor's instructions and by informing my family if I feel the slightest side effects to the medication that I'm going to take.
Do you feel you're a danger to yourself or to anyone else at this point?
No, sir.
Doctor, do you concur?
I do.
Your Honor, if I may.
Go right ahead.
Dr. Wilcox, you stated earlier that Mr. Newman is now on different medication.
That's correct.
Can you state with absolute medical certainty that the medication he's on now will not produce psychotic side effects?
With absolute medical certainty, no, I can't.
Your Honor.
I've heard enough. I'm ready to rule on this
Excuse me,
case.
Judge. I'd like to say something if I could. I do.
Go ahead, Mrs. Newman, make your statement.
I have known and loved Victor Newman most of my adult life. And he would never, ever hurt me. The man who waved a gun at me was not my husband. I looked into his eyes and saw somebody I didn't know. Because the medication had altered his personality. The man I'm looking at right now is my husband. There is no reason to be afraid of him. There is absolutely no reason to keep him locked away from his home and his family.
Thank you all for your patience while I consider the testimony given here today. I am satisfied that Mr. Newman is no longer a danger to himself or to others, and I hereby terminate his commitment.
There you go.
Order, please. Mrs. Newman, I'm holding you to your word that you'll be watching your husband closely. If there are any further problems, please contact the appropriate authorities.
Oh, I will, I promise.
And I trust you understand that this is all for your well-being and for the protection of the community.
I do you honor, and I thank you for your diligence.
We're adjourned.
There you go. I told you, Dad.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm glad it turned out okay.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful.
It was my pleasure. But Victor's testimony sealed it.
Well, what do we got to do to get you out of here?
Now I can officially discharge him. I'll take care of the paperwork. I'll meet you back in the ward.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You know what it feels like to be able to go home again?
Ah, yes. Oh. You know, this information on seizure alert dogs is unbelievable. They can actually sense when one is coming on and alert their owner. Wow.
It's really uncanny when you see it in action.
It says here, anywhere from several seconds to 45 minutes or more before onset. How is that possible?
No one knows. Even some dogs that haven't been trained can sense when something's about to happen.
Wow.
So what can I expect going home?
Yeah, that's a good question. I want a whole list of possible side effects.
Well, as I explained before surgery, you may experience a headache, stiff neck, nausea, vomiting.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Obviously, if that happens, I can prescribe you some low-dose steroids.
You must be kidding. Another pill?
Obviously, if you have another seizure.
We will be on the phone to you immediately.
Yes, my baby. I'm so happy to see you. That's right. I'm so happy to see you.
Well, he's happy to see you, too.
That's right. Very happy to be home. Right, Zapato.